I went to public school. Maybe there were 10 Jewish kids. I dealt with ignorance about Judaism.
I work in a public school. They're not connected to Israel and Judaism the same way as students in Schechter.
Schechter is an adventure. Morning to night, you're in and you're out.
I've taught at other schools. There is no place like Schechter.
Schechter is one big family. It's a big community.
We all have similar values and the same beliefs. No matter what happens, we'll always have this community of people.
Our strength comes from our unity.
I have such a tight-knit group of friends. We're so deeply connected, always there for each other.
My Schechter friends are going to be the people who will be there for me for the rest of my life.
It's a community where people care about each other.
When you send your kid to Schechter, what you're providing is lifelong guidance. You have that backbone of ethics.
All those foundational things came from Schechter.
And now, a word about school discipline from our assistant principal, Mrs. Ofra Hiltzig.
Let me start off by saying, the discipline in the 8th grade is no good. Funny it is not. Come on, guys. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hello?
Yalla bye. Give me a minute. 10 hours later. 5 more minutes. 10 more minutes.
No, Boobala.
Boobala. Hi, Boobala.
Boobala, are you okay?
Hi, Boobala. It's one of my Yaladim.
There are either Boobales or they are Munchkins. Those are the two.
My daughter did a report about her Savta. When she was a little girl, she used to work in the moshav with her father, and she was in charge of the irrigation, making sure that every plant, every lemon tree got just enough water. And she's still planting, and she's still making sure everyone gets just the correct amount to grow. Schechter has become her new moshav.
In every organization, there is always someone who turns the lights on in the morning and locks the doors at night. Ours is Ofra.
She puts a very high value on the students, on us, faculty, and community.
She could be in the middle of 6 things, but we come first.
It's just like my kids say, she respects us for who we are.
Just as much as we are her Yeladim, she is another parent to us.
She is a combination of a mother and a teacher.
I know that she's on my side all the time.
She's always wondering, how can she help?
People know they can depend on her and rely on her.
She has this magic of being able to be an administrator and a teacher and a good friend.
You take such care. It's really as if we're part of your family.
Nice to meet you. When we first started dating, I insisted that my girlfriend speak Hebrew to me. Figured I knew Hebrew. I had no idea what she was talking about.
I would not play Scrabble in Hebrew with him, no.
Yeah, I beat her in Scrabble. I served in the Israeli army. In the middle of my service, we actually got married.
We came here in 81.
Yeah.
And we settled in Stony Brook.
Ofra was commuting to Schechter, was then in Jericho.
Like every good Israeli, I really thought it was for a short while. I replaced one identity with another. The identity is Schechter.
There is sort of this very stark line on one hand between home life and Schechter life, but it really isn't. It's really all blended together.
There was one year she did teach me for a full year. Not fun.
I walked in, surprise squeeze, and everybody looked at her as if she would have known. She was whiter than anybody else in the room.
We knew to not call her mom or Ima.
I didn't really feel it as much until I got to middle school when I really saw her every single day in school. I got some pointers from my older siblings.
Ignore her. That's how I handled it. It was the easiest for me.
She taught me, I think, a couple of classes. Was it intimidating? I mean, yeah.
The only time she taught me was when she had to cover for another teacher. She sent me to the office with about 30 seconds.
Thanks, Mom.
No matter what's going on in Schechter, when it's family time, it's family time.
We'll stay there for Shabbos. She stays up till 2 a.m. just making food for us.
She buys those ingredients and she works that kitchen to make sure that everyone has what they love.
In our home, it was always connecting to the history, connecting to the land. My Saba and Safta came to a land that didn't have anything, and they built a house.
When I go to Israel, the goal is to spend time with Saba and Safta. That creates that connection.
The Israel senior trip, it is so important to her. She really sees it as her send-off for the students who are graduating.
Ofra and Schechter are sort of interchangeable.
And she keeps the spirit of the school up.
Ofra embodies Schechter's purpose.
She's not the biggest part of the school. I think she is the center.
She works too hard. She cares too much. But she's just a remarkable woman.
You live and breathe our mission, vision, and core values each and every day.
Like Schechter would not be Schechter without her.
40 years of absolutely amazing growth.
I'm in awe of you every single day.
Safta, congratulations. I'm really proud of you.
Mazel tov, Ofra, for everything that you do. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts.
Hashem, we give you some more strength. 40 years.
Yeah, next.
What I'm missing so much this year is that in the faculty room, to my left was Robin Stanton, and to my right was Deborah Lorber.
In the faculty room, the English department, we would sit very close together always so we could collaborate.
Even though I was in the science department, I got to be really good friends with the English teachers who sat right next to me.
We always said that Deborah, Lorber, and Lenny Iskowitz, like they were honorary members of the English department.
How does it feel to wear that visitor's pass?
Very, very weird. So I can take this thing off for this, right? Yeah, after 20 years at Schechter, the chance of me remembering to get my driver's license on the way out is like infinitesimal. But it's also like I never left.
Miss Lorber and I go back way before Schechter. My son Noam was invited to a birthday party. I walk into someone's house and the arts and crafts are on the table. I go over to her, I said, Deborah, what do you do for a living? My science teacher. I said, nice to meet you. May I have your resume?
So Deborah gave life to the entire engineering program at Schechter.
She is so incredible at her craft, so knowledgeable.
She's just so easy to work with, very hands-on.
What she's brought to Schechter, how she inspires those kids.
This is my first time experiencing engineering classes, and it started with her. This is 100% something that I want to do with my life.
We have some alum. They're involved in NASA, physics, engineering.
She has such respect for her students.
And her commitment was obvious from the enormous amount of hours that she spent working.
My biggest project was this device called the solar concentrator. I would always ask to stay after school, and Miss Lorber would always stay, even if it was hours after she was supposed to leave, just so I could work on it. There would be times where she would tell me, like, 4 hours after school, like, you gotta go, man. Like,
her tireless commitment to making every single program that she was involved with work. E2K pre-engineering program that we have in the middle school.
E2K is an after-school math and science program where kids stay and work on math problems and science experiments. I did love spending the time with her, and I liked listening to her.
The robotics program, it is what it is because of her.
A testament to her knowledge and her intelligence and her perseverance.
Even though Deborah moved to North Carolina, she's in touch. She still mentors our teachers.
Dozens of engineers that have come out of Schechter had direct contact with the engineering program that she turned into the monster that it is today.
It's good to hear all of the wonderful things that they go on and do after Schechter. And it's nice to know that I was a tiny part of that.
My daughter was a senior in high school and my son was a freshman. I was starting to get sort of an empty nest. I felt more like I wanted a community. I said, you know what? I'm ready to make the transition. You look through the New York Times, and a friend of mine said, well, what about this one? And I said, this is a tiny little school. Schechter never disappointed.
I just remember watching her teach, and it was magic.
How exciting are her classes. And until today, whenever they need to make sure that a certain essay is written a certain way.
Robin has an ability to infuse her intellect and her curiosity with an enormous respect for students.
I love reading and I love writing, and I think she really helped me improve on my understanding of literature as well as just my skills in writing.
The English department at Schechter is the reason I majored in English, and Miss Stanton was a major part of that.
Last year I worked with Miss Stanton, and the first thing she says to me, "You're not my student anymore. It's Robin. Call me Robin." And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that.
I loved my book club. And there's a book club now that we started 2 years ago.
Is a club that we have for middle school and high schoolers, and with Miss Stanton's encouragement, we created this club and I worked with a couple other students. We just kind of put it together.
The mock trials were wonderful. The debates were wonderful. The sitting in the faculty room was wonderful.
She's had a big impact on a lot of us.
Both Mrs. Lorber and Ms. Stanton, can't thank them enough for all the work that they put into my children's education.
Both of them are masters at what they do.
They've made a lasting impact on students.
We thank you both for your extraordinary service to our school.
I don't know if they could ever be replaced.
John, I don't know what I can say other than, I guess I have to be nice because you're my brother, but you're an amazing guy. You really, I think, represent everything about this school that is so great. I think you're a role model for everybody during this time right now.
So even though we're going to talk about my story a little bit, I just wanted to say up front that my wife and my thoughts are with Omer and everybody who's currently serving in Gaza, their families, and everybody who's been directly affected by this mess. I grew up in Massapequa, where my parents still live.
I went to the Solomon Schechter School of Westchester from pre-K until 8th grade.
I went to Schechter, I started in kindergarten, and I continued all the way up through high school.
He was a solid student, he was friendly, outgoing.
Everybody looking to him and up to him.
One thing that always struck me was that he was always good-natured, showed a concern for others.
Schechter gave me the background, something as simple as celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut in school. I can remember in 7th grade having a survivor come into my class. The first time I saw a tattoo on somebody's arm. I had never visited Israel. Our senior trip coincided with really the heart of the Intifada. The school decided not to go. It was still something that I wanted to do, something that was really missing for me. I think I was a sophomore at Binghamton when I first heard the term birthright. I signed up. I got Israel fever real hard. If you recruited, I think it was 10 people to go back, you can go again. And I did that 3, 4, or 5 times, just in college. This was a place that I really felt that deep connection to. I wanted to live in. I wanted to work in finance. I was gonna have to spend some time in New York. I actually got the job that I wanted. For those of you who haven't been on a trading floor, there's monitors everywhere. That summer, the second war in Lebanon broke out, and I'm watching a live stream of everything that's going on in the Middle East on hundreds of monitors across a trading floor. This notion of going to the army was deep in my mind. I knew that if I didn't do this now, that I would regret this forever.
Of all the people that would do something like this, Jonathan would be one of the first that would come to mind.
It was no surprise when he joined the IDF.
We flew over there, the war was in full swing. We couldn't even go to the kibbutz we were staying on. We stayed at a hotel in Jerusalem for a little while, and then we were all drafted into the army. I was older than the other people. I was 21. They promoted me, and they sent me to the IDF commander school. They're teaching you how to lead others, and I had the honor to lead a unit of 16 people through 2 combat tours.
I went with my family to Israel. We met up, and there he was in his uniform, a little bit different than the 10th grader I could picture in the classroom.
I think the most important thing that I took away from the Army is perspective. Really pushing yourself to the absolute maximum. I would not be the person I am here, but not for that experience.
I then get a call from Yoni Chariton. Do you have a list of our alum? He said, I would like to start something.
One of my best friends, his family is involved in an organization that is helping to supply Ukraine. They were able to shift to go from Ukraine to supporting Israel. There were meaningful gaps in equipment. The goal was to get them the equipment that they needed as quickly as possible. I was part of a group of people who were raising money for them. I started the WhatsApp group to garner the Schechter community. Within 48 hours, I think we had 600 or 700 people in the group.
It was really amazing how gathering that handful of people, those people reaching out to their handful of people.
I said, Adi, you know, Yoni started. She said, yeah, because this is what Yoni does. It's amazing. And this community is behind it.
Jonathan, we are very proud to honor you this year. You gathered us and brought us together.
I hope I remember that your name was Pedro. I still remain very, very proud of Pedro.
Mazel tov! You have to do it! Congratulations!
Schechter taught me to think for myself. It gave me the foundation to be able to form my personal connection with my own history, with that of the Jewish people. And for that, I am forever grateful.
The greatest values of Schechter is creating those roots.
At Schechter, Judaism in Israel, you don't learn it to be a part of you, you learn that is you.
I see my children really being proud to be Jewish.
The kids are amazingly inspiring.
We were given a gift, the gift of the students. We are to nurture it.
Schechter education forms a soul, and it formed to the core of who I am.